My jealous sister. She just got caught doing something so ridiculous on the pet camera that we keep in our living room, and it's going to absolutely ruin my wedding, and there's something I have to do about it because I can't let her get away with this. Let's start from the beginning. I'll tell you exactly what I'm going through with my fiance, my sister, this wedding that's absolutely draining me. Let's just start from the beginning. I'm not new here. I used to read stories from other people who have issues with their sisters in my free time because it was very relatable for me, you know? Well, I never thought that I would be seeking help here one day, but yet here I am. This is a complicated story, so please excuse that it'll be a bit long. I'm 27, a female, and I'm the middle child of 5 siblings. While we were growing up, money was a big issue in our family. To make ends meet, my dad had to work multiple jobs a day, and my mother worked night shifts even. So they had a limited time with us, and they showered most of their love on our youngest siblings. Well, let's call her Sally, as I was the middle kid. I used to get the typical middle child treatment, which was more ignorance from others. Well, our financial situation became quite stable when 2 of my older brothers started earning money. My parents started spending time at home, even though most of their time was reserved for Sally. So, I was growing up by myself and was very mature for my age. I realized at an early age that if I had to live a good life, I have to work hard as heck. Yeah, I put extra effort into school. For example, participating in sports, debates, talent shows, I mean, you name it. Oh, and of course my studies. I think because of sports, I was quite popular in my school as well. Well, all of these things were unbearable for Sally. She would literally trash me in front of our parents, and if I won something or got any kind of attention, any parents in this situation would teach their kid that jealousy is not a good thing, right? But this was not the case for my parents. Oh, well, they would wait for me till I got back home from school and scold me for, quote, showing off. You know, my talent in front of Sally, who's, according to them, a special kid. It's ridiculous if I think about it now, because those were the only times probably when they gave me any sort of attention. My school had invited them many times for me, as I was part of the school's drama group too. But they ignored it. Almost every time because, quote, that would leave a negative impact on the other kids. My whole life, my sister had to be better than me and talk down to me about everything, from my appearance to my friends, heck, even my dating life, pets, and job. And, of course, any other life choices that I would make. But she would mostly try to sabotage it or try to make it look like my achievements are nothing instead of trying hard just to be compatible with me. So you can say that my relationship with my sister has always been like walking on a tightrope even. I would like to point out that I have high-functioning autism, which means I can operate like any normal human being, but I suffer from periodic panic attacks and crying episodes. Even though I made myself strong, their behavior left negative effects on me. Only my second youngest sister, Molly, knows that. You know, for example, one thing that's important to me is the piano. It was an old classic piano that belonged to my grandmother. She was a talented pianist back then, and when she saw I had talent in the area, too, she gave it to me before she passed. When I was young, she used to give me lessons. I even worked in bars and restaurants when I was a teenager just to make a bit of money. But one day, I found out Sally was trying to sell it on eBay. She had shown she didn't give a crap about the thing. This is important to me, and she had no boundaries as she went ahead and mingled with the stuff that did not belong to her. I was furious and complained about it to my parents. I was hoping that they would do justice and give her a lesson. But instead, they just scolded me, saying Sally wasn't just trying to help out the family, as I'd already know how to play the piano, and I don't need the useless thing anymore. When I was going to graduate from high school, my class teacher was sure that I would get admission to an Ivy League college. They asked my parents to visit the school many times, but Sally knew about it and made excuses every time to stop them from visiting the school. Well, at last, when my father agreed to go after lots of pleading, he straight up said no. No, as he didn't have enough money to send me to another city. My teacher suggested that if I get a scholarship, they don't have to pay so much, you know. He still disagreed, as he can't even spend money for my living and eating. And I was an understanding child. I knew my parents were struggling, so I was okay to study inside of my hometown.
But it just hurt so much because they were giving 2 private classes for Sally for every single subject that she could pass. Yeah, at first I thought they cared about Sally more because she's slow, but it was evident they didn't give one heck about me or my well-being. Well, it seems so unfair that I went into a panic attack for a few days. Thankfully, my other sister was there to comfort me, and it was more hurtful because just before her final year's exam, Sally eloped with a guy for money and got married. She didn't even consider resuming her studies after that, and all that money went down the drain. It was like rubbing salt into my wound, and I thought at least my parents would be angry at her as she was wasting their money. But they were so happy that Sally got a husband who makes a good amount of money. They were so proud. Well, after that, they used to look at me and my other sister like we were a burden in the house, and they used to comment that we were older than Sally and not yet married. I used to get frequent panic attacks because of their remarks, and it was not healthy for me. You know, my sister suggested I get out of the house as soon as possible and build my own life. For a year and a half, I saved up enough money from my part-time job, and I just simply moved out. And I would say from that moment I started living a great life, you know. I got a good job, and only after a year did I save up enough for an apartment. I met my fiancé, and within a few years, everything seemed settled. My other sister also went abroad for higher studies and, well, led to a better life there. Both of our successes were way too much for old Sally. I still haven't introduced my fiancé to them, so one day my parents invited us for dinner just to meet him. A little bit about my fiancé, right? He's from a poor family as well. But in this case, they're supportive of him and did everything to make his dreams come true. He's an entrepreneur and very, very rich. We met at a conference a few years ago, and after about 1.5 years of dating, he proposed. And of course, I basically screamed yes. We kept the news hidden from my family because they're full of negativity, and I didn't want them to be included in it. But as we were official now, I had to let them know. So, the dinner with him, it went well at the beginning until Sally, by the way, she was invited, realized my fiancé was rich. Way more rich than her husband. She looked jealous of me, and it was crystal clear. I thought my parents would be happy to have such a rich partner with me, but they also looked disappointed because their favorite child looked sad. I already informed my fiancé about every possible situation that can happen. Sally started her trash talk out of nowhere, saying how entrepreneurship is not a foolproof career and that any day my fiancé could end up in the streets. I defended him by saying that would never happen, as I have a good job too. I could see her biting her lips in straight-up anger, and out of nowhere she said that I was belittling her for not having a job and showing it off in front of her hubby. I was shocked. At those remarks that I was out of words. Her husband also looked uncomfortable, poor guy. However, I couldn't hold back as I don't owe anything to anyone, so I argued with her and left. Well, the next day I got calls from my parents saying how rude I was and that as I'm older I should be more considerate. I told them that if I'm bad of a person, I will not invite them to my wedding and cause them any trouble, and I think that clicked some senses into them because all of them seemed to apologize after that. You know, things were starting to get fine between all of us, and Sally was surprisingly good with me. But it didn't even last a month as she started acting all friendly with my fiancé and whispering poison about me straight to his ear. She said things like I have autism, and sometimes I get so mad that one time I actually tried to harm her. It's funny, they don't know me and my fiancé. We've been together for years now, and he's seen everything about me and knows very well how bad my autism can go. She even points out things like I'm insecure. Guys, for context, I was insecure before when I used to live with him, and all of those caused by her and my parents because whatever I did, they just ignored me. My fiancé knows about this, and with his help and mental support, I'm getting better day by day. Our relationship is built on trust, and we're stronger together, you know. I know those kind of comments she's casually blurting out with the motive of ruining my relationship, and I'm overthinking it probably, so I don't know if I'm making a big deal just regarding this. I mean, she scares me a lot, guys. Recently, she's asked me about the wedding and expressed that she wants to be my maid of honor. I mean, what should I do, guys? Please, drop a comment. I need your suggestions. Update number 1. Updating it about 2 weeks later. Before I move on with the update, I would like to thank you all for your insight. I admit that I'm an overthinker and sensitive, so I was only focusing on the negatives. But your insights helped me tremendously, and I'm just so glad that I got so many responses and tried to read as many as I could. Many people were blaming my parents for my sister's bratty behavior, and you know what? I agree. I agree with you. I ran to them whenever I sought justice, but they told me that, to adjust instead. Even sometimes my brothers tried to discipline her as they were older, but they got scolded by my parents too. They made her what she is today. Some of you guys advised me to give her a chance, keeping the fact in mind that my fiancé and I have a very strong bond. I considered even letting her be a part of the wedding, I know even if she wants, she can't do anything to our relationship, and to be honest, I don't have close friends, and, well, my other sister won't be able to come here until the time of the wedding as she's in another country. I needed someone else with me to help my plan with my wedding. So I let her be the maid of honor. Sally even offered to pay for my wedding dress, and I was happy that she was trying to be a good sister. But when she started playing her role as maid of honor, I heavily regretted giving her the position. My brother-in-law is an event planner, and that adds steroids to the situation, Well, she held a meeting and noted everything we wanted and later deliberately did not follow any of those. First, she seized the entertainment and we wanted a DJ for the after-party. But she went on and booked a band. It's a local band that apparently is very hard to book, and this wasn't a horrible gesture or anything like that, but it was over the line not considering what we wanted. The DJ was my fiancé's wish, and I was feeling bad for him when she abruptly ignored it, and I just told him that I would talk to her about it, but he assured me that it was okay. We wanted the food served to represent the specialty of our area, but she ordered catering from a fancier, exclusive place. I'm not trying to sound ungrateful or anything, but it isn't what we wanted. My fiancé is a big supporter of supporting local businesses that do have potential. So he expressed to Sally, but she said that would just look cheap. We're trying our best to be appreciative of the situation because she's preparing and managing everything with lots of enthusiasm. We're too sensitive to hurt any feelings, and we're too introverted to voice our opinions freely. To be honest, we were thinking about court marriage at the beginning. But we changed our mind to support many other businesses as we got into normal lives after COVID-19. And businesses are suffering from losses. However, we still have 1 year to prepare for our wedding, and I'm yet to get my wedding dress. I don't know, I'm quite worried about what she'll do because she's going to pay for it, and she has full authority over it. I'm still overthinking about the situation. Update number 2. Hey, it's me again. Well, I know it's been about a week since I last updated, but I just needed to get my thoughts in a row. The wedding dress purchase was a disaster, just as I thought it would go. For people who are new here, my jealous sister, who sabotaged my whole life, suddenly acted all helpful and offered to pay for my wedding dress. Not that I don't have money to buy my own wedding dress, but getting it from a family member made it more special, so I agreed. But it was an awful situation. So she set the budget at $4,000, right? I was okay with it. I thought if I liked something that would cost more, then I would just pitch in for it. I then tried to plan dates to go to see the dresses, but she said that she was busy all the time. And when we were only 2 months away from the wedding, I simply could not wait any longer. I told her if she wanted to be a part of this, she had to be available. I'm sure that she was doing all this deliberately, I think she wanted that last-minute disaster. On the other hand, she was getting praised by her parents for being willing to spend money on my dress, as always. However, we went to my first dress appointment where I invited my in-laws, and it was not to her liking. She wanted it to be just us and our mom, and I stood up for my decision and said that they were so important to me as well. She was the only one that came with me into the fitting room and kept calling me a big girl, and told me not to worry that we would find something that would simply fit me. I'm not even fat, I'm healthy. That's all. Eventually, I found a dress at another place with just my sister and my mom. The dress was $7,000, so they told me to keep looking, even though I said I would pay the difference. They made me look for other options, but my mind was set on that $7,000 dress. So I told her I appreciated her offer, but I would pitch in some money to have the dress that I wanted. My sister started crying, saying that I didn't care about her feelings, and my mom started scolding me at that. I still said nothing. I got the dress I wanted, and a few weeks have gone by and Thanksgiving comes. I show up to my parents and say hello to everyone, including my sister, and she kept trying to make every comment into a dispute and stormed out, and was brought back in. Her husband tried to tell her to behave and mind her business. She wanted to know why I paid that much for such a hideous dress. She also refused to get in family pictures with us, and the night ended early with her throwing her plate, yelling like a banshee, and straight up storming out. I still have not said a word to her, and I've been told by my parents to reach out and apologize numerous times, or at least reach out so she has a chance to talk things through. My parents just keep telling me that she loves me and I should be more considerate of her affection. Updates number 3. Hello, update time. So it's been almost 2 months since I last posted, and it's my big day tomorrow. By the way, guys, some of you were saying she's not jealous and she's trying to change. Yeah, that's not true at all. 'Cause I've seen instances where her jealousy was clearly visible. For example, a few weeks ago, we were hanging out and she came to my house and saw my new car, and things were basically making sarcastic comments about everything, and so I asked her why she was being like that, and she basically said that I didn't deserve to have what I have, and she left. I was feeling bad for her, not gonna lie, but what can I do in this position? Also, when we talk about our partners, she tries her best to prove her point that her husband's career is more stable. The only achievement she had in her life was marrying a man who earns well, and as my parents and my partner was suppressing that she was feeling jealous of everything that I have. I worked hard for everything I have, so there's no fault on my side. By the way, people are still thinking she's changing and trying to be a better person. Let me warn you, what she has done is beyond my imagination, and I regret having someone in my life like this, you know. So, after the dress incident, we haven't talked much. I thought she was angry and needed time. My wedding was 1 day away, and almost all of the preparations were done. The cake also got delivered. I planned to keep the cake on our kitchen table, as our fridge did not have enough space, you know. My sister planned to stay in our house, as she's supposed to help me get ready tomorrow. By the way, I need to give you some information about me, as it's important. I'm allergic to many foods. Egg, shrimp, most especially peanuts. When I was young, my brother accidentally shared a peanut-covered chocolate, and I was admitted to the hospital for 5 days. During midnight, we heard our dog barking in the kitchen, so we got curious and opened up our pet camera to see what exactly was happening. You know, we have a big window in the kitchen, and sometimes raccoons come in and trash it if we accidentally forget to close it. I was sure that I closed the window as our wedding cake was there, but our dog never barks until he sees something weird. Just to our shock, we saw my sister doing something in the kitchen. She took out some food from the fridge to give it to the dog so it could stop barking, and then she replaced the cake with an identical one. I was sure that she did something to it, and we waited till she was out of the camera. We took some samples of the cake and contacted the cake shop that we got the cake from to help us out after explaining everything. After tasting it, they said the cake was full of peanuts. So she was trying to ruin my wedding by making me sick. Yep, the amount of peanuts that she could have even used would have killed me if I consumed too much, and she knows it. She knows I love to eat me some cake. The footage of her doing something with the cake was captured in the camera, and I just really want to expose her. All she had done was sabotage my life because of her jealousy, and now she's playing with my health. I'm planning to show to everyone this evening, and I will update you on exactly what happens. Final updates. Hey guys, I'm back with yet another one. So, it's been 3 months and this will be it. Final update. First of all, you guys really helped me, not only with suggestions, but also with my panic attacks. Your positive comments helped me calm down. I was stressing because of the wedding and added to her evil acts if it was just, too much for me. My fiancé helped me calm down as well, and as you guys suggested, I've decided to expose her in front of the whole guest. She's obsessed with gaining attention, which is why she's agreeing to buy the dress, so I've decided to give her attention in my way. The whole time she was beside me and smiling and acting like we were besties. If I didn't know what she did, I probably would have folded by this behavior. Whenever anyone would praise me for my looks or dress, she would insert herself and declare that she paid half of the dress. My parents' way of giving me compliments was too funny because they just commented that I looked good and then hugged my sister who was standing beside me, raining praises to her for choosing the dress. First of all, I chose that dress. Whatever, I guess. I've stopped giving a crap about them at this point. However, I was waiting for the perfect moment to straight up expose her. Before we cut our cake, we announced that I had a special little surprise for my sister to appreciate the help as my maid of honor. Everyone thought I would show something positive about her, and she looked absolutely proud. My parents started kissing her forehead and expressing how proud they were of her. Then boom. All of them went silent when they saw what she was really doing with the cake. When she realized, she ran towards me and tried to snatch the remote from me, but my own other sister came forward and held her back. After the video ended, I told everyone that the cake was full of peanuts, and she was planning to hurt me on my wedding day. Everybody in the crowd was basically just straight up booing her, and my parents started screaming at them to stop. Some of the guests were scolded my parents in their face for taking the daughter's side when she was clearly in the wrong. However, they left the wedding. I'm on my honeymoon right now, and I have time to relax, so I thought I should give you guys this little update, right? I filed a case against my sister, and she'll have to pay for what she has done. Also, her husband's planning to divorce her. He called us personally after the wedding to apologize, and he said that he's advising her to see a therapist. But she's shouting at him, saying she's not insane, so why should she? My parents called me once and went crazy over the phone, saying they were hoping I have an awful life as I destroyed their daughter's life. They cut ties with me, and you know what? I don't care. I'm happy where I'm at right now, and even if my life turns out awful, it won't be as bad as if I'm with them.